Hello and welcome to another tutorial from ICT. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a clicky game inside a WPF and C#. Let's take a look at what this game does. In this game, you have these circles coming up, and then every time I click one, it makes a little sound effect, and when they pop on their own, it makes a little pop sound as well. So the idea is to click and remove as many as possible before the health bar actually reduces down. So if I leave them on, I'll click on a few more so it actually speeds up. As you can see, once you have scored a certain amount, it speeds up, and then when the health bar is down to a 0, you get a message saying you've scored 23, click OK to play again. Now one of the interesting thing is we actually get to save the last score that we have done in the last playthrough, and then when you click play again, so let me click on a few more. Let's see how that goes. Okay. I'll try and score a little bit different than last time. So now I scored 28. Right, so when I click OK, it also shows 28 here. So we're going to be making this game in Visual Studio, so let's go and make a new project. To start, let's click on a new project. Make sure you choose the WPF.NET framework. Let's name it Clicky Game. WPF more ICT. Click Create. Okay, so this is the blank view of the project so far. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the XAML part of the code a little bit better. Okay. Before we start, we need to import the sound files downloaded from the link below. So make sure you do that first. So what we're going to do inside the Solutions Explorer, go and make a new folder. Right, so let's call this one sound. Okay, and then right click on the folder, click add existing item, and then we can go to the downloads, go to the folder, and then change that to audio files. Okay, actually it's not going to show up on the audio files. Click on all files, then that should show up the two mp3 files that you have downloaded. So highlight both of them, click on add. Okay, so after the sound file has been imported, right click on the sound file and then change that to copy to output directory to copy always, and do the same for the other one. Okay, that's going to make a copy of the sound file and select it and put it inside the debug folder for us. Okay, so let's go and set up the game. So let's change the title to Clicky Game WPF C# more ICT. We can leave the height and width of the form as it is. It's fine. Change the grid to a canvas. Let's give the canvas a name called My Canvas. Okay, we're going to give a mouse left button down event. So click on canvas like so. Then let's give it a background of dark gray. Okay. That way we can see the colors better. We're going to need two labels. So let's add the label now. This one is txt score. So this one holds the score, current score of the game. Set the font size to 20. Font weight to set bold. Okay, and the content inside of this one can be score :0. Okay, so that gets added there. We also need one for the last score. Let's do another label, name txt last score, font size 20 again, font weight to bold, content last score 0, and this one we're going to do a foreground of, say, purple. So as you can see, it gets overlapped onto the other one, but you can just select that and then move that further down a little bit, so. Okay, we're also going to need a health bar that we're going to put over there. So let's do a rectangle here. Name health bar, stroke black, so you just have a black outline around the health bar. Width, we'll do about 350 set the height to 27, fill red, and then end that tag so it gets added there. So now we can just select that one and move that over to this side here. Okay, so now we can start on the C# part of the coding for this game. Right click on the mouse left button, event, and then click on go to definition. Okay, that will add the event for us. We're going to need to import the namespace threading for the dispatcher timer. So under the namespace section, type in using system.windows.threading. Okay, we're also going to need a function here called game over function. Okay, so let's add the variables for this game now. So let's say dispatcher timer, holy game timer, new dispatcher timer here. I need a list of ellipse. So that's how we're going to be making the circles, but this one's going to be responsible for removing them from the canvas. So say new list. Okay, let's add a few integers. So say int spawn rate equals 60, int current rate, int last score 0, health is say 350. That's the width of the rectangle. Position X, position Y, and then in score. We need a double for growth rate 6. Let's get a random, new random. Okay. We're also going to need 2 media players to play both of the sounds. So let's go get those. So media player, click sound equals new media player, and then another media player for play pop sound, new media player here. Okay, so let's get 2 URI sorted out for these as well. Let's say clicked sound and then URI popped sound. Under the initialize component bit, we can set up the game timer and give the URIs some information on where the sound files are saved. Okay, so let's say game timer.tick plus equals game loop, game timer.interval equals time span from milliseconds 20, and then we can start the game timer.start here. Okay. Also we're going to set the current rate to the spawn rate. So this is going to be used to check how often we can spawn the circles onto the scene. Right, let's set up the URIs. So say clicked sound equals new URI. And set up there, we can say pack site of origin 3 commas. And let's go to navigate to the sound folder, and then now we can say clicked pop.mp3. and just make sure the spelling is correct. So we got clicked pop.mp3 there, at the origin, click on. You can just duplicate that line here and say popped sound. This one is pop. So highlight over the red line there, and then it tells you that it doesn't exist, but we can just go to the potential fixes, just click on the first one. That would add the game loop event that will be linked to the timer. First, let's work on the clicked on canvas click event. So inside of there, here we're gonna say if original source is ellipse. Okay, so then we're gonna make a temporary ellipse here called circle equals ellipse, the original source, my canvas.children remove circle. So if you clicked on an ellipse, inside the canvas, then that would basically link it to this circle here, and then it's just going to remove the one that we clicked on. So if you clicked on one, then we can add one to the score, and then also we can say click sound open, right? Clicked sound there, play click sound dot play. So it's going to play the clicked sound when we have clicked on a ellipse. Okay, so now let's work on the game loop. Say txt score dot content score plus score txt last score dot content equals to last score plus last score here. So let's go to current rate. We're going to reduce that by 2. Okay, if current rate is below 1, then we say current rate equals to spawn rate. So it's going to get reset back to the spawn rate. Position x equals dot next between 15 and 700. Position y dot next as well. This one will be between 50 and 350. So if you notice in the game, each circle that spawns comes up with a random color. So for this one, we're going to need to add another variable here, brush. It's a lowercase brush there. So we can actually save a random color generated in this one and apply it to the circles. Okay, so say brush equals new solid color brush, a color from RGB. Inside of here, we'll do another set of brackets for white. And dot next, it's going to go from 1 to 255. So we're going to need to do these 3 times. The comma from there, because this from ARGB has 3 different values for red, green, and blue. Okay, so once you've done that part, just copy and paste that times, and that would generate a random number in each section for the red, green, and blue. And now we can go and make the ellipse that we need. So ellipse, call this one circle equals new ellipse. Okay, so inside of here we can say tag, default height will be 10, width will be 10 as well. Let's stroke brushes dot black, stroke thickness will be 1, and fill will be equals to brush. So whatever number whatever color that is generated here will be applied to the circle. And lastly, still inside the if statement, you can say here canvas dot set left circle position x, then set top to position y. Now we can say my canvas dot children dot add circle. Okay, so that would actually add the circle inside of the canvas. Okay, let's go and try to run this one. Let's see how it works. So see the circle has come up here. There's another one there, and it's coming up with a random color. Okay. And if you click on it, it disappears and it plays that sound. It doesn't play the sound when I click on the canvas, but it plays the sound when I click on the circle. So that's working. Okay, so it's time to grow the circles now. So let's go outside the if statement. We need to run a for each loop. Okay, let's look for x in my canvas children of type. So in this case we are interested in ellipse. Okay, so any ellipses that are available inside of this. In this case x dot height is going to be plus equals growth rate. X dot width will be plus equals growth rate as well. Okay, and what we also want to do is we want it to grow sort of from the center of the circle. So we're going to say x dot render transform origin equals new point. And inside of there we can say point 0.5 for each. Right, so let's see if that actually works. As you can see, they actually are growing. Nice. Right, so here we can say if x width is say greater than 70, then we're going to add it to the remove this list. So say add x there. We can also reduce health by 15. So each time one of them grows beyond 70 pixels, it's going to pop and then it'll reduce the health of the player. Okay, so say play pop sound to open inside of there. Let's link the popped sound URI. So play pop sound play, and that would play the pop sound for us. Okay, so with that done, let's go and set up the player health. Say if health is greater than 1, health bar width is going to be equals to health. Else we can run the game over function. We're looking for ellipse. For this one I inside to remove this. So any ellipse that is added inside of this, remove this list. Say my canvas children remove I. Okay, so now let's set up if score is greater than 5. So if we have clicked on 5 different ellipses, then we change the spawn rate to 25, so they spawn a little bit faster so the player can interact with more. And we also need to check if score is, let's say, greater than 20, then we spawn them a lot faster, so we can say spawn 15, and we change the growth rate so they grow a lot quicker as well. So growth rate can be 1.5 in this case. I think with that done, let's try it out. Let's say if it pops on its own and see if it plays the sound. It does. It's actually reducing the health as well. Then when I click and remove them, see they spawn a little bit faster. As you can see, more are spawning right now because I've scored more than 5. In this case, if we go to 20, alright. So now let's work on the game over function when health actually goes beyond 1. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to stop the game timer. Okay, stop the game timer here, and then we'll show a message box. Say game over plus new line plus say you scored. Score plus another new line. Say play again. Okay, so that would be the message, and if we do a comma here, and now we can give this one a title. So new says, so that would be the title of the message box. And so after that, what we can do here is and do a for each loop. So let's do y in of type ellipse. So what we need to do, we need to remove all of the current circles that are currently on the game, right, to start a fresh game. So let's say remove this, add y. Okay, let's do another for each loop here to remove any ellipses that are added inside of this one. Call it I. Move this, say my canvas children, remove I. Okay, so because when we run a for each loop like this one to identify the objects, we cannot directly remove them from this one because it will cause an error. So by adding it to another list, then we can confidently remove them without causing any problem in the program. Let's set up the default value for the integers. So say growth rate, that's a double, so the growth rate to back to 0.6. Spawn rate can be 60. Okay, last score is going to be equal to the score, then we set the score back to 0. So this is how we're going to be saving the last score of the game. Let's say current rate, set that to 5. Health gonna go back to 350 again. After that we can say remove this dot clear, so we need to clear off everything inside of this list, so when the game starts, it starts afresh, and then we'll start the game timer again. Okay, let's take a look at how this works. Right now we're starting it off. Click on that works. Okay, so now that it has ended, it says you scored 30. Click OK to play again. Then when I click OK, it scores back to 0, and it shows the last score 30 there as well. So if I try to play it again to see if it scores updates. It's going to leave you at 25. Okay, so if I scored 25, then the score gets updated there as well. Okay, excellent. This has been a quick tutorial on how to make a simple clicky game inside of WPF and C#. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you on the next one.